Morning everybody, Ryan Alexander here. The sun's just coming up. I am walking to the boat that we're going to be taking you on a walkthrough of today. We are at Harbor Town Marina. We have an office here. This is kind of home base for us, so it's exciting to shoot a boat directly in the area. We're behind the north barn as I am making my way to introduce you to my good friend Peter. He owns, dreamt up a boat called the HammerCat. It's a 35-foot center console. This boat is so cool. First introduced to it about a month ago at the Denison Rendezvous down in the Keys. You can see the boat behind me. Hopefully, this is a catamaran center console. I'm gonna introduce you to Peter, one of the coolest guys around, a man with vision, and I'm excited to show you what this thing can do.
Good morning, my name is Peter Wiersema. Welcome aboard the HammerCat 35. We are the next generation power catamarans, and today we're going to take a good look at the HammerCat 35. As my business partner and myself were looking around what we could do differently and what we can do better in the sportfish power catamaran market, we realized that a lot of power cats need big engines in order to go faster. That also means that you have more fuel consumption, which means less range. We conceived the HammerCat 35 as an epoxy composite boat. That means that the boat is 50% lighter than a competitor's boat, which means that we need less engines and we have double the range at the same cruising speeds. That's what makes the HammerCat 35 very different from everything that's out there on the market right now. So the HammerCat 35 carries 400 gallons of fuel. We have twin Suzuki 350 dual prop engines as standard, and running at 30-35 miles an hour, we burn 20 gallons per hour. That means we can go over 600 nautical miles on 400 gallons of fuel. Now that's a very, very good fuel efficiency. To put that in perspective, we can go from Fort Lauderdale down to the Exumas and back, and we don't have to purchase Bahamian fuel. So the HammerCat 35 weighs just 8,500 pounds. We have a complete carbon fiber hardtop. The hull itself is built from epoxy composite materials. This technique is commonly used in race boats, and it takes many man-hours to achieve this lightweight. And when I say 8,500 pounds, that includes your engines and fuel ready to go boating. One more thing that I want to talk about is the ride. The HammerCat 35 is obviously a power catamaran. It already rides smoothly, but what we did, we gave the boat a Carolina bow, a very high freeboard, and a double-stepped hull. So the double-stepped hull pulls in the air when you're riding in offshore conditions, making the boat extremely comfortable and very dry.
I just want to walk you around the outside of the boat real quick. I'm going to flip you around and just want to start with a few of these details. One, the hull color. It is a shade below electric blue, but it is a beautiful color. You've got the logo here on the side, carbon fiber, so great. See how high the freeboard is. Really stands out, making a peak around the front here. You see that this boat is even set up down at the water line, where if a super yacht owner wanted to tow this boat, it could easily be done.
Now that we're back at the dock, Ryan and myself are going to take you through the HammerCat 35 in more detail. We're going to start on the stern, where we see the standard engine package of the Suzuki 350s. We obviously offer Yamaha, Mercury, anything else that anybody wants to purchase. With the twin 350s, our top speed is 53 miles an hour. But where the big difference on the HammerCat comes in is the comfort and the softness of the ride. And that's done with the hull shape. And if we look at one of the particulars, we look at the high bridge deck clearance in the back of the boat. We're well over a foot above the water line, and that ensures a comfortable ride in any conditions.
I also want to take a lap around the outside so you can take a look at the gunnels. You notice how high they are. You've got some hideaway cleats here. When you're not using them, they're nice and out of the way. handrail leading forward. You also notice the molded non-skid. And then another great feature is that the deck is actually cambered, so the water runs off towards the outside. You've got this channel that runs all the way along here so that the deck stays nice and dry, safe, and comfortable. Now we're gonna get going again with the space-by-space breakdown of this boat, starting in the cockpit, where all of the fishing takes place. After you reel in your catch and get it on board, you have a centerline marlin door that can also simply be removed and stored out of the way. Just forward of the marlin door are port and starboard cooler boxes that could just as easily be bait wells, depending on how you want to customize this area. Immediately forward and underfoot, we have hatches that reveal bilges, which are the only empty spaces in the hulls. What you'll find throughout the hull more commonly are insulated spaces, such as the fish boxes.
Every open area underneath the waterline is filled up with high density foam that makes the HammerCat 35 unsinkable, and it obviously insulates all the fish boxes automatically.
And a nice feature is that they drain directly from the side of the hull. We next see the first of two hoses that can be used for either saltwater or freshwater that's located on the port side. Found throughout the cockpit and the sole, making the guest experience more comfortable and slip-free, is gray SeaDek underfoot. Turning our attention forward in the cockpit, we arrive at some aft-facing seating, essential for when you're out trolling. There's a storage console in between the seats that's equipped with a sink and tackle storage that has the option of being converted into a refrigerator. And now I'm going to hand it back off to Peter, who will be showing you around the helm area.
Here we have the three forward-facing LeBrock sport seats with great visibility forward. One of my favorite features of the HammerCat 35 seating module is the added step. If you have children on the boat that you want to introduce to boating, this is a great feature for them to stand up at the helm and see over the center console. The HammerCat 35 uses standard Raymarine equipment. On this HammerCat we see 16-inch multifunction displays. We have the VHF, we have a Rockford Fosgate sound system with 8 loudspeakers, Optimus steering, and Suzuki gauges. All this is mounted on a carbon fiber panel. When I go boating with my friends, the first thing everybody asks is, where can I charge my phones? The HammerCat 35 has 4 waterproof USB outlets to charge 4 cell phones. The standard Raymarine package consists of 2 Axiom chart plotters, fish finder, GPS, as well as the aft-facing camera.
One of the coolest features of the boat is the carbon fiber hard top. It's got a nice gel coat on it, real even, consistent. You got your LED lighting built into this. You've got 4 of the boat's speakers integrated into the hardtop. There are spreader lights that go both forward and aft. Carbon fiber posts that support this. You've also got your Raymarine camera up here. Great thing about this, when you're reeling in a fish, you can take a video as you pull it back through the marlin door. And quite possibly the nicest but most simple touch are these aluminum rod holders in here that serve as your rocket launcher. You'll notice in all, there are 28 rod holders built into the base layout of the 35 HammerCat. This means that you've got enough room to arm everyone in the boat, something that's perhaps the most important aspect of a fishing platform like this one. I also want to point out that the large hardtop also speaks to other things that HammerCat has been focusing on, primarily taking the weight of the boat seriously. With all of the options on the table, they went with this 150-pound carbon fiber top that stays true to this boat's core values. The 35 also addresses the question of storage, an issue at the middle of the center console experience. For example, I've already pointed out the aft fish boxes, but there are additional fish boxes that flank the helm, combining for a total of 4. But the most crucial storage area is found just forward of the console.
On the backside of all these instruments we have the center console. We can add an electric flushing toilet, and there's also an incredible amount of storage space.
Before I wrap up on the bow, I want to show you one more thing underfoot. I've already showed you that the deck is cambered, but you've got these extra fish boxes right here. And then you've got your fuel compartment. So this is where your fuel tank is. Really nice thing about this is coated. So when seawater hits it, it's not going to start to corrode. It's still going to look nice long after. And then one last feature before we move forward, you'll notice that the latch here, as you spin it around, it's got these 2 red dots, and those indicate that it's lined up, so you don't have any guesswork left. And you just press it down, latches right into place, opens up just as easily. The only remaining area of the boat we have to cover is the bow. This space centers around forward lounge seats. There isn't a center console of this size that offers you a lounging spot like the HammerCat does. This is the place to be when the boat is tearing from one place to another, because you feel how stable this boat is. The seating rests above a huge storage area that Peter refers to as the coffin box. Again, storage like this is a crucial selling point of what HammerCat brings to the market. And a nice touch in this area are the separate compartments aft of the coffin box that can be insulated. There are high and wide gunnels that make it safe for you to walk around the boat. The height of these also makes the fishing experience more comfortable by giving you something to lean on when you've got your line in the water. One of Peter's favorite spots to fish from are the center line rod holders, because the engineering of the gunnels allows you a safe and wide place to sit and reel. On the starboard side of the bow is the second hose that can run freshwater or saltwater. At the foot of the bow seating area are just 4 of the Rockford Fosgate speakers that make sure this boat is not only seen, but heard. And all of the way forward, we see how much additional storage space the 35 has because she's a catamaran. Outboard are 2 large storage lockers for stowing your dock lines and fenders. The hatch in the center serves to store your anchor, and if you want to customize your boat, this is where the windlass would go. Because this particular 35 is always on the go and has scores of demos under her belt, the anchor, when deployed, is set using this bollard found just aft of the anchor chute. At the top of today's walkthrough, I mentioned that I first experienced the boat in action at the Denison Rendezvous just a month or 2 ago. The first time I laid eyes on this boat was just after sunset on the dock, and would be remiss to not let you see how she looks with all the lights on, glowing in her slip. When you think about all of the potential a boat like this has to disrupt the fishing market, it's easy to see why several of these boats have been sold sight unseen. The idea of trolling for swordfish on this thing in the middle of the night, or taking a sunset cruise and finishing those last few bottles at the dock, are the perfect complement to her ferocity. Where other boats get tossed around in rough conditions, the HammerCat is stable, and when everyone else is at the fuel dock, you'll be getting your head start.
I'm very passionate about Hammer Yachts. This is our brainchild. We conceived this, we started this only last year. We're already working on a sale of hull number 8. If you need any further information about availability and pricing, please contact us through our friends at Denison Yachting.